subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell to be the first to get all my latest writing tips and videos. And remember, be original. Be a writing original. What's up, everybody? Adrian here. Welcome back to another video of who should have creative control in the movie industry. In this video, we're going to be focusing on the talent or the actors and actresses. And then after that, we got one more video talking about the screenplay writer. So I'm sure you heard about, the actors and actresses messing up a movie, whether because they, have too much creative control, or they're like divas, or they're like hard to get along with, or, they change the script, or they put their kids in the movie, or they have a lot of connections with the director and they could like get away with really changing or doing anything. And that's what we're going to be focusing on. This is going to be like a fun, easy video. I'm going to give you a lot of fun examples of how the actors and all these different ways, because having too much creative control mess up the movies. So, but before we get to that, shout out to all the writing originals out there. Hope you're, writing a lot of original, books and stories and whatever, and you're focusing on the story comes first. So now, let's get into the video. So let's get to the definition. This is pretty self-explanatory. I found a bunch of definitions, but they all seem to be the same thing. And it's one of those definitions where, like, the answer is the definition. Like, there is no deeper meaning to it. So, like, an actor is a man whose profession is acting on stage, in movies, or on television. An actress is a woman whose profession is acting on the stage, in movies, or on television. An actor who plays a role in a film. The art or practice of representing a character on stage or before cameras. An actor or actress is a person who portrays a character in a performance. The actor performs in the flesh, so to speak, in the traditional medium of the theater, or a modern medium such as film, radio, and television. So see, very simple. And now let's get to a whole bunch of examples. Okay, so here are a bunch of examples of bad acting ruining a film. Now, it's also trying to make a point that the studios hire these actors, whether because they have connections or because they're like the fresh new face at the time, or they're owing a favor, or they're Hollywood royalty and they just like got to deal with them because they bring a certain amount of money in the box office. But then when the movie bombs, they keep getting chance after chance for whatever reason. But here's just a few examples. I'm sure there's a lot more that I missed or that are out there. So let me know in the comments if you can think of any other ideas or better ones. These are just some ones I could find. So for example, Hayden Christensen in the Star Wars prequels, like they hired him, thinking, oh, he's a good fit, or maybe George Lucas like miscast him because he's like a good-looking Abercrombie and Fitch model, but he just like, did a bad job at portraying a young Darth Vader, and he was like the whiny, crying over his girl, like, you had all this like bad dialogue, and the way he said, even Natalie Portman wasn't that good in the prequels, and she's supposed to be like a real good actress. And you got that scene with like sand. I love sand. You could put it between your toes and your nose, and it's like, what the hell's going on? So he was like a big part of why the prequels like, got messed up. And then you didn't really like see him since after that. Like he got put in a couple stuff, but it was just basically the same role of him just like being like a whiny little baby. So you haven't seen him too much now. But then you had like Cameron Diaz in Gangs of New York. Now I never really liked Cameron Diaz because she never took like anything serious. She was always like jokey and laughing, and like, and I even remember like right after 9/11 actually happened, since 9/11 just, it's the anniversary now. I think the what, 17th anniversary now? Or I don't know what it is, but she was doing like right after it happened, like this fundraiser on TV, where people would call in and, she would say whatever like her lines were, but she was like joking and laughing when it was supposed to be like a serious moment. But that's kind of what she does in her movies. So, Gangs in New York, she had like a horrible accent, and she was just like bad, and like Leonardo DiCaprio was like, trying to act with her, but she was like sticking out like a sore thumb. Sore thumb. Daniel Day Lewis on screen, which like he won an Oscar for that, and Cameron Diaz was just like horrible in it. So, even Julia Roberts, there was this movie she was in early on where she played like some English woman or with some accent, and she did like one of the worst accents in history, and like ruined the movie. I don't know what she played, some nurse or some, like, I don't know, like some 18th century woman thing, and she had a horrible accent, so she kind of reminds me of that. Then you had like Keanu Reeves, which, hey, I love Keanu Reeves, especially in the, you know, John Wick movies. Like, he's awesome. The Matrix. He's had a couple of iconic like roles and trilogies and stuff like that. But early on, when he tried his acting chops, you had like Bram Stoker's Dracula, didn't work with his accent, and even Dangerous Liaisons, that was even worse. Like, I don't know, like he can't really do dramatic roles, or maybe he's better at it now, but just stick to action or sci-fi. But he was the hot young thing at the time, and he was always in these movies, but he just wasn't working with the dramatic stuff. So then you had Sofia Coppola. Like, she's gonna show up in a bunch of examples, but she was like the daughter of Francis Ford Coppola, and she kind of like was one of the main reasons Godfather 3 like was bad. There are other reasons, but she was one of the main reasons. Even like Siskel and Ebert were like, yo, this, I can't like defend this. I think one of them, I read that he tried to defend her, but the other guy was like, yo, thumbs down, I can't defend this person. So, she was like a horrible actress, like horrible facial expressions, like one of the main parts that ruined the movie. So, but we'll talk about her more throughout the, video. Then you have Kristen Stewart. Oh, God. Like not just the Twilight movies, but like in every movie she's in, she plays the same role with the same, like, wooden, dead expression and, like, mannerisms. And for some reason, everybody, like, in the movie is after this girl. For what reason? I don't know. She has no personality. She, like, is boring. She's, like, stiff as a board. She's, like, acting in front of a brick wall. But all the guys in the movies, she's, like, the main love interest and are, like, fighting, killing for this girl. Who wants this girl? There's a lot of girls out there that are more interesting and have personalities and are funny. Like, what's up with this girl in all the movies? I don't know. Like, and Robert Pattinson, he wasn't doing a good job either. So I'm just saying, but her? Oh my God. And even like the Maze Runner, the Scorch Trials, there was like an actress in there, like the main love interest, who reminded me of a Kristen Stewart. So she spawned a bunch of actresses like playing her role of this stiff, expressionless reaction thing. So then you had Jai Courtney. This guy keeps getting chance after chance after chance. And I don't know if he's getting better, but, the last thing I saw him in was Terminator Genesis, and he was miscast in that, and he just didn't portray a good Kyle Reese, and then he had him in Suicide Squad, which, I gotta give him credit, he was the best thing in Suicide Squad, but that movie was so horrible that he was the best thing in that movie. The Joker was horrible. Even Will Smith was horrible. All the characters were all horrible. The story was horrible. The CGI was horrible. The dialogue was horrible. Like, so he was the best thing, but that's not saying much. You had him in Die Hard 5. I think that's when he like came onto the screen and blew up. But he stunk in that too, so I don't know. Even like Sam Worthington, he's kind of like in that camp. Then you had like Tom Cruise and Dakota Fanning, both in War of the Worlds, like especially Dakota Fanning. Like Tom Cruise, he's kind of like a Kristen Slater-ish type actor. Like he plays the same role, but he gives it all he got. He does his own stunts to mask the fact that he plays the same roles. But, you know, I'll get behind him because he puts his body on the line. But acting-wise, he's just the same dude, man. You know, he's just the same dude in every role. Like a Charlie Sheen, Kristen Slater-ish type thing. But he's like the best of them. But in War of the Worlds, I don't know. Like, yes, he did a good job playing an asshole. But listen, he gets a lot of creative control. That's what I'm saying. So it's not just, oh, they have bad actors or in a movie they ruined it. No. The studios specifically hire these people. And they get a lot of creative control. Sofia Coppola, she's going to get a lot of creative control. Tom Cruise, Johnny Depp. Okay? Like a lot of creative control. And, you know, Dakota Fanning, like, she was especially horrible in this movie. Like, she played like, she was like what? Like 10? Playing in the movie? I don't know, 8, 10? I don't know, 12, I don't know. But she played like she was like a 35-year-old woman from Harvard. You know, she's like, oh my dad, daddy, we're getting invaded by space creatures, daddy. Like, oh my god, this is just too ludicrous, daddy. Like, who? What? Like, yeah, she's a good actress in other movies, but in this movie, bomb. Like, she was horrible. Like, she took me out of the movie. Okay? Not to mention that other kid that was supposed to be like Tom Cruise's son. He stunk too. So anyways, Johnny Depp. Now this guy is high Hollywood royalty. Okay? And he's had a lot of good movies, like playing wacky roles in his early career, but then in like recently just like had bomb after bomb after bomb after bomb after bomb. But he's Hollywood royalty. He keeps getting picked. And now all he can do is that Jack Sparrow Pirates of the Caribbean. So whenever he has like 10 bombs in a row, he's like, what am I going to do now? Oh, I'm just going to make like another Pirates of the Caribbean 27 and make like $1 billion. Because that's the only franchise that he can still be okay in. But, you know, he's expected to make a certain amount of money in the box office, but it ain't working. But he gets a lot of creative control, a lot of say in the movie, and you see Murder on the Orient Express bombed, Mordecai bombed, Transcendence bombed, The Lone Ranger bombed, The Dark Shadows bombed, Rum Diaries bombed. So I'm just saying, like, and then he also started trying to direct, and that bombed, like, so I don't know, like, what's going on with Johnny Depp. Like, he's not what he used to be. I don't know, but he has a lot of creative control. So there you go. Here are a few examples of the actors or actresses having a lot of creative control on the script and ruining a movie because of that. Because they believe they can do no wrong. They're untouchable. They're surrounded by yes men. You know, they're hired specifically by the movie studio to bring a certain amount of box office like profit. And then therefore there's a lot riding on their shoulders, and they think like, well, you know, I'm just untouchable, I can do what I want. So for example, Tom Cruise, like I said, Hollywood royalty. For The Mummy, right? He got hired specifically to start an entire like dark universe. This was supposed to be like a bunch of like remakes or reboots of the original like monster movie genre, but like contemporary now in the remake on original era of reboots and sequels. And you were supposed to have Johnny Depp as the Invisible Man, Russell Crowe as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, The Mummy with Tom Cruise. You had who else? Like a bunch of people like the Swamp Thing and Dracula and a lot. But because this movie bombed, The Mummy, thanks to Tom Cruise having too much creative control, the Dark Universe got scrapped. So, let's see what I read here. Tom Cruise also produced the film. So, he like wrote part of the film, produced part of the film, starred in the film. He micromanaged every part of the filmmaking, even directed part of the film, turning a historical supernatural fiction into a something that looked like an action film. So the movie bombed and the Dark Universe got scrapped. So that's what I'm saying. You had Angelina Jolie again, Hollywood royalty. Her and Brad Pitt are untouchable. Now this is an example of her not just ruining a movie script, but her telling the movie studio, having so much creative control that she told the movie studio, listen, like, I know you have a sequel planned to Wanted. You have like a script, you have actors, you're ready to like film, but no. I am telling you to scrap everything. I don't want the sequel to Wanted, so don't even make the movie. Like, come on, guys. Like, you have an actor who's telling a movie studio, like the top echelon, like board directors and like, stockholders telling them, do not make a sequel to a movie or else. Like, come on, guys. Like, and she even rewrote the ending of Wanted where, like, the ending wasn't supposed to be her killing herself off. But she had so much creative control in the movie that she said, I'm rewriting the ending or else. And I'm going to shoot myself in the head because I don't even want to be in the sequel. And I forbid you from even making a sequel. So they stopped with the sequel. They already had it planned, ready to shoot. And she said, nope, because I am Angelina Jolie. And I am untouchable with Brad Pitt. So she said, no sequel happening. The development was stalled. Okay? On the insistence of Angelina Jolie. She thought her character might be botched in the sequel, so she said, hell no, I'm killing myself off. I'm rewriting the ending, and I'm telling you, no sequel, bye. Now here's another quick example, but I don't blame Daniel Craig in this instance. But I had to put it on because it was such a great example. So when he was announced as Bond and he did Casino Royale, that movie was great. One of the best Bond films. He's one of the best Bonds of all time. But then when the sequel, Quantum of Solace, came about, there was a writer's strike going on. Okay? And Hollywood was desperate for good movies, which I'm going to mention about in, the next part. But because there was a writer's strike and then like this, Quantum of Solace, they didn't know, like, they didn't have a good, like, screenplay writer or a writer at all. So you had the director trying to put his creative 2 cents in, and it got so desperate to where, like, they were, like, rewriting scenes or rewriting dialogue, like, daily, not knowing what to do. And they even asked poor Daniel Craig, they're like, can you help us and write a couple of scenes? And, like, since you're James Bond, what would James Bond say? So he even, like, tried to put he, like, wrote some of the dialogue and he even wrote, like, an action scene. And the movie was, like, one of the worst out of, like, the new Bond series with Daniel Craig. It was one of the worst one. And Daniel Craig even said, like, I mean, I tried, but listen, I'm just an actor. Like, I don't know nothing creative-wise about the dialogue or about writing a scene. So, but we didn't have any writers. It was the writer's strike. So I tried my best, and it stunk. So I did what I could. So during the writer's strike, he put in his creative ideas and wrote parts of the script, including the dialogue, and it didn't do that good. And finally, another great example again. Let me know in the comments if you come up with some better examples, because I'm sure there's a bunch more. Okay, you have Nicolas Cage. Now this guy is very interesting because he's like a crazy dude, but he keeps getting chance after chance, job after job. He keeps getting hired. He makes like 10 movies a year, either straight to DVD or some like in theaters, or I don't know why, like, but he has to, he's like, I don't know, he's connected to the Francis Ford Coppola family. Is he like a cousin or like a stepson? Did he marry into the family with somebody? Is he a nephew? I don't know. But that's why he keeps getting hired. And I like Nicolas Cage like in his earlier work, but now he's just like a punch by numbers guy, like a stamp by numbers. Like he just does a movie, he doesn't even read the script. I think he just like reads the script seconds before the director like says action. And again, he gets a lot of creative control because he's connected to the Francis Ford Coppola family. And he gets control on the scripts. He gets control on directing. He gets control on the acting like way. Like if he doesn't want to do a certain scene a certain way, then and he wants to like scream and like change the dialogue and do some crazy weirdo like thing in the scene, well the director has to agree to him, or else they can't fire the guy, because or else he's gonna tell Daddy Francis Ford Coppola, and then I don't know what's gonna happen to the movie. But that's a great example of having too much creative control in every aspect of the film. And the movie studio hires this guy because I guess they have to. They have a gun to their heads. They have no choice. So there you go. Alright, here are a few examples of the actors and actresses being so hard to work with. Their reputation on set. Because they have either like the creative differences, they don't like what the scene is happening, or what the dialogue is, or what the direction of the scene is going on. So they gotta just put in their 2 cents, and they're very hard to work with on set among other actors or among the staff, the film staff or the directors. And then some examples of them being even shunned and not being able to get work because the movie studios had enough of their antics. And even some examples of the movie studios they keep hiring these actors and actresses despite being so hard to work with, because I don't know why, but let's get into it. So the number one person I bet is Katherine Heigl. Like, she's been shunned from Hollywood because she has a reputation of being demanding on set, and she has no problem bad mouthing her projection after they are released. So she's even bad mouthing the movie, the director, the actors after the movie's released. Speaking about Knocked Up, she said it paints the women as shrews, as humorless and uptight, and it paints the men as lovable, goofy, fun-loving guys. Okay, well, that's just like one example, but there's tons of examples of her hating the movie or being demanding on set, or like being mean to the staff or being mean to other actors. So now, have you seen her in any new movies? Nope. Bye-bye, Katherine Heigl. So then you had Megan Fox, who was a diva on set of the Transformers, and she even fought with Michael Bay where she got fired. And for a while she got shunned, and she wasn't in any big roles anymore. But then I think she reconciled with Michael Bay, and Michael Bay even said she was called Hitler by Michael Bay on set. She was an on-set Hitler. Good lord. But then she reconciled with Michael Bay, and she got put in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then she got put back in Transformers. So she's cool now, But for a second there, she got shunned from Hollywood. Then you had Bruce Willis, which, again, Hollywood royalty. He gets a lot of creative control in his movies, whether it's like in a scene directing wise or in a dialogue wise. But, him and Kevin Smith on set of Copland, like, Kevin Smith said that Willis was soul crushing to work with. Wow. And even like you had what's his face, the Rocky dude, Sylvester Stallone, on the set of Expendable sequels, and like he didn't Stallone didn't hire Bruce Willis anymore for another Expendable sequel because he wanted too much money for like a day of work. He wanted like $4 million or more for like a day of work of doing nothing, or like 4 days of work. So $1 million a day for really doing nothing, just like dialogue. And Bruce Willis like try to put his creative control with Sylvester Stallone. And you don't want to mess with Sylvester Stallone because he's a writer, director. Like, he's also kind of Hollywood royalty too, in a way. But when another Hollywood royalty guy tried to put his 2 cents with Stallone said no. He's like, no, you fired. Like, yo, Adrian, yo, Willis, you fired. And it was like funny because they had like an argument. He was like, he was greedy and lazy. Like, the greedy lazy on set, so you're fired. Greedy lazy. So that was hilarious, So that was a good example. Yo, Adrian, he's greedy lazy. Anyways, I'll stop doing that. So then you had Jennifer Lopez. Now she is literally Hollywood royalty, and whenever she's hired, she is a super diva. And if she doesn't like something, she's gonna let you know, whether it's the dialogue, the scene, and she's not afraid to like get in the director's face. And she's a hard worker, but still, like, so she is said to have a long list of demands, like a diva on set, that must be met. And if she is going to appear in a film scene, she is known to throw fits. And if she doesn't get her way, oh my God, then you better watch out on set. So she has a lot of creative control. She produces a lot of stuff. She, like, even if she doesn't produce, or if she's just hired for a role, on top of being a diva, like, she's gonna say, I don't like this dialogue, change it. I don't like this scene, change it. I don't like the way you're interacting with me, change it. I don't like the way this lighting hits my face, director, change it. So, but she keeps getting hired because she's Hollywood royalty. Another example is Shia LaBeouf. Now this guy is kind of like a Nicolas Cage, where he's like so method acting. He doesn't break his role no matter what, that it's like annoying on set and it's frustrating on set. And he has like a lot of artistic, weird, like method acting, artistic ways that is just too crazy for the actors and actresses and director and staff. They're getting like scared on set. So allegedly he's such a serious method actor, while his techniques produce a great end result that can lead to tensions on set. Brad Pitt reportedly was disappointed by Shia LaBeouf's energy on the set of their upcoming film Fury. Now that's just a nice way of saying like, yo, this guy scared the shit out of me on set, and I just couldn't take it anymore. And when Brad Pitt says that, Hollywood royalty, it says something. So he got like shunned from Hollywood because he just like quit Hollywood because they just didn't get him. And then he popped up in a lot of like weird artistic like music videos or short films where you just gotta watch it and it's like weird. It's kind of scary. Like he's doing weird stuff with his body, with I don't know, but you just gotta look at that. But I don't know if he came back to Hollywood, if he's getting hired again. But this is a perfect example, like Jared Leto, almost, where he just has too much like method acting. He like takes it too far. Even like Christian Bale, like almost, but we'll get to him. And finally, here's like a bunch of actors and actresses that they're just super hard to work with. You got Steven Seagal, who I think he's been shunned from Hollywood, or he only does like straight to DVD. But even the movies he does do that are straight to DVD, like he is super hard to work with. Like he's super serious. You can't joke with him because he doesn't get the joke. When he tries to joke, you better laugh. You better pretend to laugh and get the joke, or else he'll snap your neck. Like I think he attacked, who's this one actor? Forget his name, but there's like a lot of examples of if an actor doesn't agree with him or doesn't laugh at his joke, he like chokes him out on set, and like he tries to inject his like creative juices on the you know, onto the dialogue or to the scene or to the director or to the dialogue, whatever. So he's very hard to work with, okay? Yeah, John Leguizamo. He like choked out John Leguizamo. Then you have Lindsay Lohan, who's like, she had like drug issues, and she was always late on set, and she was always arguing with her like co-stars and arguing with the on-set staff and the director, and she would like walk off the set, and then like you couldn't find her. So she just like got shunned from Hollywood from being too hard to work with. And I think the like last movie I saw her in was like a low budget porno movie where she like showed her titties. She has some nice titties, I'm just saying. But I don't know. Then you have Christian Bale. He's like borderline like method acting, taking it too far. But he's like a good actor, but even in some roles he just can't act in it. Like in Terminator Salvation, he had his outburst like attacking some lighting guy, and that was like, the audio was leaked, and he had to apologize to the guy, but he only apologized because he got caught and it was like bad press. So, but even in Terminator Salvation, like he stunk. But overall, he's like a good actor, but his method acting, I don't know, he takes it too far. Then you had Mike Myers, which he's like notorious for years and years, like being a jerk on set and insulting you either straight to your face or like insulting you like underhanded insults. And he's like a sarcastic guy, like, but he's good. But I haven't seen him now. Like after the what do you call that series with Austin Powers and the Shrek thing, like he hasn't done much. I don't know, did he like quit Hollywood? But he's on that like talent show, like in that full makeup. You can't even really tell it's him, but he's there, like that talent show or Make Me Laugh or whatever it's called. But he hasn't been in a bunch of movies, so but he's like notorious for being a jerk on set. So there you go with that. All right, here are a bunch of examples of the actors or actresses having so much creative control that they start directing and they ruin the movies, or even if they're not directing, they're putting in their 2 cents on the scene, directing the scene, or in the dialogue, or even when they produce the film. Like a producer, they're depending on how, like, involved you are in the producing, you're just supposed to stand back and have like a hands-off approach and let the director do his thing. But even when they're producing, they're like super involved in every little micromanaging the movie and putting in their creative 2 cents. So for example, again, Steven Seagal, like at the peak when he first came out and he had like a strings of great films like Above the Law, Out for Justice, stuff like that. But he directed Above the Law. So it was good. But then after that, he just had like, he got the director's bug, and he would inject his like super like environmental social message, social commentary about the environment and saving the animals and global warming, that it just ruined the film. Like On Deadly Ground, or there was like another film that he had super creative control in that again had to do with the environment, and that bombed. So now he just like direct to video or direct to DVD, like everything he directs. Like this is just generic, like Kill Switch, The Keeper, Flight the Fear. Like look at the cover. It's all him with the gun on the cover. It's like the same cover, the same names. Like even like Wesley Snipes, there's another example of him directing like crappy movies or having too much creative control with direct to DVD or direct to Blu-ray, and they're all like the same generic stuff. So there you go with that. You had Jodie Foster, who's directed The Beaver, which was and Money Monster, which was like I don't know what her social commentary is trying to put in there, because the Money Monster was about like corporations and the media and whatever, like who knows. And The Beaver was like a comeback film for Mel Gibson, but it didn't really work. Then you had George Clooney, who he's Hollywood royalty, like super liberal. So whatever he says, creative wise, goes. So he did like Leatherheads, which was The Monuments Men, which was you had like what is it? The Tears of March? What is that? The Isles of March, which was like some, political liberal thriller. I don't know if it was good or not. You let me know. So Barbican, I think it wasn't that good. It was like some horror movie. Like I don't know what social issue he injected in that. Good Night, Good Luck. I mean, it was good, but nothing amazing. Confessions of American Gangster, or American Mind or something, or Dangerous Mind. Some gangster mafia film. I don't know. You let me know if it was any good. But this guy specifically hired by the movie studio because of his liberal views and trying to inject his liberal message to counteract the other side, if you know what I'm trying to say. So whatever he says, creative wise, goes. But the movies suffer for that, so I don't know. And I don't even think that the movie studios care about a profit anymore when it comes to this guy. He even directed like Barack Obama fundraising commercials. And, what I'm saying? So, even with Hillary, he directed a bunch of stuff or helped with the creative aspect of that. And you saw what happened with Hillary Clinton. So, Hollywood is like, we gave you a chance with her. You didn't get the job done, so now, see ya. You have Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. She got a chance to direct. Now she's like a mixed bag because, Unbreakable was good, and she has a lot of humanitarian work, social commentary, social views about diversity and save the planet and save Africa and save, South America and save everybody, give all the money to them and, the starving children and war-torn children. So, she did whatever documentary movie, I don't know if it was any good, By the Sea, was kind of like a Geely type thing where her and Brad Pitt were basically playing themselves, Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck and, I don't know, I think it bombed, no one even saw it. It was just like a thing for them. Or In the Land of Blood and Honey, I think that bombed too. So, but she can do no wrong. She's Hollywood royalty. She gets all the creative control. Then you have John Travolta, who he did Battlefield Earth, and that was just like a religious social commentary on the, what do you call that freaking religion that they're a part of? I can't think of it right now. It escaped me. You let me know in the comments with that weird sci-fi Hollywood religion that Tom Cruise is a part of, and you gotta donate all this money and Hollywood runs it, and if you speak out against it, then you get lobotomized, or you get put into quote unquote protective custody 6 feet under. And Lee Remini was talking about it on her TV show when she escaped from it. And Scientology, there we go, Scientology. And I even threw in like the Gotti movie because I don't think he directed it, but he produced it and he had to listen. He might as well have directed it because he had a lot of creative control. And the way he portrayed John Gotti was it was laughable. It was atrocious. And it's not one of those movies that where it was so bad it was good. It was so bad. It was bad. But because he's Hollywood royalty and he has a lot of connections, he could do what he wants. So there you go. That's what I'm saying. Then finally Adam Sandler. Now this guy, he used to be funny. He used to come out with great movies. But lately, I think he's shunned from Hollywood. I think the movie studios had enough of this guy having movie bombs and not bringing enough money, not making enough profit for the movie studios. And I think his last movie was straight to Netflix and that even bombed. Was The Ridiculous Six. That bombed. And it went straight to Netflix, so they're even tired of him on Netflix. Then you had Sandy Wexler. I didn't even see it. I think it bombed. You let me know in the comments. You had Grown Ups, which was okay. But then you had Grown Ups 2 and 3, and they bombed, or he's coming out with another Grown Ups, and that's going to bomb, and it's going to be straight to Netflix or straight to Blu-ray. Jack and Jill was just a monstrosity, and that was the last straw that people had with this guy. And he directed that. He directed the Zohan movie, that sucked. Bucky Larson, Stars Born, that sucked. So not just the stuff he directed, but the stuff he made, which was Pixels, that stunk. The one with the that remote control, that stunk. He tried some dramatic stuff with Punch Drunk, or Please Talk to Me with Don Cheadle or something. He tried some dramatic stuff, but the movie's bombed. I'm sorry, guys. I'm done with this guy. Even Ben Stiller was kind of in that camp, but Ben Stiller does make some good movies, and he directs some good movies, but even then when he tries to star in some of them, I don't know, they're mediocre at best. But Adam Sandler, he's done. I'm done with this guy. I don't know, he's straight to Blu-ray now. So there's a few examples I could find. I'm sure there's a lot more. Let me know in the comments. And finally, we're going to finish off with the actors and actresses having so much creative control given to them by the studio, by the way, that they can put their kids in the movie and have a whole movie made around their kids and them, and they ruin the movie and they bomb at the box office. But they're Hollywood royalty and they keep getting hired. Oh, and by the way, please like and subscribe this video if you haven't already. So now let's finish this off. You have Julia Roberts and Emma Roberts. Now, Julia Roberts, she's Hollywood royalty. She can make any movie, be in any movie, whether it makes money or not, doesn't matter. But she hasn't been in a lot of stuff lately, so I don't know. I think Hollywood is saying listen, you ain't bringing in that dollar bill, y'all, but we'll let you put your kids in it. So I think Emma Roberts is her niece. Just like that Emma Roberts and who else we talked about who's in Twilight? That Kristen Stewart, they're Hollywood royalty, the young, up and comers, so the studio, they hire them to do what they want because they got a lot of connections, I think. So, whatever Emma Roberts in, she's like that Kristen Stewart where she can't act, she's stiff as a board, no expression. But everybody in the movie, the love interest, all the guys are killing themselves trying to, get her love and get her in the movie. But she has no personality, she's not funny, she's stiff as a board. But she's Hollywood royalty, guys. And Julia Roberts, that's her niece. So she can be in any movie. Then you got Rumor Willis, which is the daughter of Bruce Willis and Demi Moore. Now, they tried it with her in a couple movies like Hostage or forget what other movie they were in, she was in. But they tried it with her, but she was so horrible, and I guess like so butch and so ugly, and she couldn't act, and she was like worse than Emma Roberts and Kristen Stewart, that Hollywood was like, listen, Bruce, come on, Bruce, like, please, we can't take it with her. She's just, and Bruce was like, yeah, I know, but I had to please my ex-wife to me more. So thanks for putting her in a few movies, but I get it. But I'm gonna be in the new sequel of Expendables, so don't worry, you know. And then Sylvester Stallone was like, greedy lazy, you know. So you're fired. So there you go. Then you had like Sofia Coppola. I told you, Hollywood royalty because Francis Ford Coppola's daughter. But then instead of being in like a bunch of acting roles that after like Godfather 3, she was in a bunch of acting roles, but not the main or like supporting actress. She was like, you know, she was in there in a bunch of movies, like I forget what she was in with like Kristen Dunst. She was in like in a movie, but she was like in like support, not the supporting role, but like the fifth supporting of the supporting role. And then she started directing movies, and her directing style is like these super long, slow shots where nothing is going on screen. Like just slow, the camera standing still for minutes, for double-digit minutes at a time. And I like some of her movies. I like some of them, like Lost in Translation, the one with Ellie Fanning, and who's that one actor who I like a lot? But Ellie Fanning is in the movie, and it's about like her and her dad, who's like a movie star, and you just see like, you know, her dad has to like look after her in Hollywood, and again, it's like a slow, like the camera just sits there doing nothing for like 10 minutes straight. So it just depends if you like her style or not, you know. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I get bored a lot. Then you got Colin Hanks and Tom Hanks, you know, the son of Tom Hanks. Now, early on in like the 2000s, he blew up in a lot of movies like Ocean County. He did like a horror movie with Diane Lane. And he popped up a lot because, you know, he's Tom Hanks' son. But after a while, he was just like, he's not that good. So Hollywood got sick of him. Tom Hanks was like talking to the studio, and he's like, listen, we'll give you a lot of roles. Just, we're sick of your son, please. So, but the guy I gotta mention is Jaden Smith and Will Smith. This guy, this kid, because Will Smith is Hollywood royalty. And Will Smith has been like famous since the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. But this guy has so much creative control. He is truly untouchable. Like even when his movies bomb, the movie studios don't even care. And so he put his son in like The Pursuit of Happiness, which was Then like The Day the Earth Stood Still, and that was one of the main reasons that movie stunk. And also Keanu Reeves, which I think Keanu Reeves like played a dead man. He played a plank of wood in that movie because he had no personality. He was a plank of wood. I think the plank of wood was a better actor than him. But Jaden Smith did not help. Also in I Am Legend, you had the daughter, Willow Smith. But she was like a little girl, and she was only in there for like a little bit. But she stunk. But the worst of the worst was the remake of Karate Kid. He ruined Karate Kid. He ruined our childhoods with the original Karate Kid franchise because you had Jaden Smith in Karate Kid with Jackie Chan. I don't care if you like that movie or you're trying to defend it. It stunk. He stinks as an actor. And his dad had a lot of creative control in that movie. And also After Earth by M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong. Him in After Earth, like, oh my god. The accents were garbage. The story was garbage. The CGI was trash. Him, like Jaden Smith and Will Smith acting together was trash. Don't even try to defend that film. I don't care. I don't. If you kind of liked it, if you give it a pass, don't you dare give it a pass. There's nothing you could say in the comments to me that can defend that movie. So I don't know if Jaden Smith hasn't been put in any more movies. I think he's done in Hollywood. I think the movie studios said to Will Smith, listen, we put him in Karate Kid. We put him in After Earth. We put him in Pursuit of Happiness. We even gave you a film of you two together. And you could do whatever you wanted, directing and creating and dialogue and scene-wise. But please, Will Smith, no more Willow Smith, please, God. And Will Smith was like, okay, fine. Jaden Smith wants to put on women's dresses and he wants to be in music videos now and go off and become an artist, in women's dresses and stuff. So, fine. But Will Smith, he's still in new movies all the time because I think Will Smith, he's truly untouchable. I don't care what the movie studio says. He can literally do what he wants. Didn't he, produce or direct Concussion? He was in that movie too. And he tried to win an Oscar with that, but it was okay. So there you go, guys. I'm done. I hope you liked it. Where the actors and actresses have so much creative control where they ruin the movie. Till next time, we got one more part coming up. So thank you so much. Thanks everyone for watching. Please share this video. Hit me up on Facebook and Twitter. Comment down below. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell. And also don't forget to check out my other videos. And until next time, remember my motto, where story comes first.